1 day game versus 1 week game. The rules are simple. I make game in 1 day. I make game in 1 week. Which one better? I don't know. But I will let you in on a little secret. You can watch till the end of the video to find out which game's better. It's as easy as that. Let's go! For the first game, I chose a 2D endless bubble shooter type game thing. Now in this game, you shoot bubbles, but when the bubbles are shattered, they spawn into 2 smaller bubbles. And when the smaller bubbles are then shattered, you get the point. It goes on until the bubbles are so small that they can't spawn anymore. And that's how you complete a level. And you must do it naked. Okay, no, that last part was a lie. Well, technically it's optional, but you don't have to do it. Anyways, that is going to be our base idea for the game, but we're gonna add some things to it. Now, one thing that I need to clarify here is that when I say I want to make a game in 1 day, I don't mean I want to make a game in 1 day. What I mean is I want to get it done in 12 hours. Keeping that in mind, I knew I had to start early so that I could be finished with the game on time and not have to work too late into the night. So I chose to start working at 4:30 p.m. 4:30? That means I have to stay awake till 4:30 in the morning. I don't know why I do this to myself. Anyways, I started by creating our main character, Mr. Square, and giving him a movement script so that he can move around. And then straight after, I took a break. But it doesn't matter, cause half an hour later, I went straight back into the grind and started adding more characters. Now we have Mr. Circle, Mr. Triangle, and Mr. 1, 2, 3, 4... Mr. Hexagon as playable characters. I made it so that the player can cycle between all the different characters by pressing a key, and that should wrap up most of the movement implementation for the player. So all of that should have taken about 15 odd minutes. Let me check the time real quick just in case. It's 9:20 p.m. I don't know how I spent 4 hours on that, but apparently I did. So I need to speed up or this game is never gonna be done. I added colliders to all of the characters so that they can interact with other objects in the game, and I started creating bullets for each character. Once that was done, I added a simple shooting mechanic that allows the player to shoot bullets upwards when the spacebar is pressed. Whew, okay, let's just take a peek at the time real quick. What the fuck? How is it 11 p.m. already? What's going on with the time today, man? Alright, I need to focus. I don't have much time and there's still a lot left to do. So the player controls are complete now, but the game still feels like shit. So I added some particle effects and now the game looks and feels much better. Alright, next up, time to add the bad guys. So I started by creating the models for the bad guys, and by creating the models, I mean adding angry eyes to the characters and making them a little bigger. Hey, I know the creativity is lacking with this one, but you gotta understand, alright? I don't have time, I gotta take what I can. So I spent the next hour implementing the basic functionality for the enemies like movement and splitting in half, and once I was done with that, I added all the different types of enemies and also their spawning mechanics. And with that, the game mechanics are finally done. The only thing left now is to add some props to the game to make it look better, and we should be done with it. So I made some props and added them in. Now the game looks much more polished, and with an hour left, I just need to add some basic UI and sound effects. That should be it, right? Nope. Power-ups! We need power-ups!
But there's an hour left. There's no way we can get that done in time.
Power-ups! As you can see, I really wanted to add power-ups, so I absolutely logged in for the next hour and made some power-ups. I added 3 of them. One increases your movement speed and the other 2 give you a better fire rate. By the time I was done with the power-ups, I only had about 45 minutes left, so I quickly set up the UI, added a camera shake on death, and added in the sound effects. And with that, the game is complete! But before we go any further, I have to come clean. I got everything done in the time limit, that is, everything other than the sound effects. The sound effects took me a little longer, about 20 minutes over the time limit, but hey, you know what? It's just 20 minutes. I think we got a pretty good game done for 12 hours and 20 minutes. Anyways, the first game is now done, and we'll compare both the games at the end, but this is what we could make in 1 day. Now let's see if we can make something 7 times as good with 7 times more time. That felt weird to say. So for the next game, since we had a lot more time, I decided to make a 3D first-person sword fighting game. Definitely not because I already have a complete implementation of a sword fighting movement system. I don't know what you're talking about. Wait! Stop! Before we copy and paste that entire code into our game, we need a map. So I started making one and I worked hard on it. I worked really hard on it. Actually, I worked so hard on it that it took 2 whole days for me to finish it. 2 days! That's way too much time. But I will say perhaps that time was not completely wasted. Because look at this. Isn't it beautiful? So serene, so peaceful. I could almost live here among
Brother, you only have like 5 more days to work on this game.
I am absolutely fucked. Okay, so now we can actually copy and paste the movement script from my other game, and just like that, we have a fully working movement system ready for our game. Man, making games is so easy. I don't understand why people say it's difficult. So we are on day number 3 now, and today I started by adding our sword model, which I got off the Unity asset store. Then I added bobbing to it. Bobbing. It's funny cause you know, like I also added the spinning fan of Doom attack. No, that's actually a bug that needs to be fixed. So I fixed it, and now we got sword attacks. But what the is that? That looks hideous. No one uses a sword like that. But you know what will fix it? Particles. Now hold your horses. I know what you're thinking. How can particles fix a core issue with animations? To be honest, I don't know, but it did. See? Told ya. Alright, day number 4 has dawned upon us, little ones, and on this day I decided to work on the enemies for the game. Now if there was any sane person in my position, he would just use game ready 3D models. But then again, if the person in question was sane, he probably would not be in my position. So take it as you will, but I'm gonna make my own enemy models. I started working on them. I created 3 enemies in total, 1 melee focused, 1 ranged, and the third one, well, we'll save its reveal for later. Until then, look at this dude. I'm telling you, man, kids these days. Day number 5. It's time to add the enemy models in the game. But before we do that, we need some animations for them, and I sure as fuck will not be making them. So I opened up Mixamo and started gathering all the animations I needed. Once that was done, I imported the models into the Unity project and set up their shader. And just like that, we have the enemy models ready to roll. Next up, I set up an nav mesh for the enemies to move around and also added the animations in. So let's test out and see how it looks. Okay, so we're in the game and whoa, that's a weird way to move. Yo, what the? Whoa, man, relax, bro. What the? Nah, that movement is crazy. Let's try that again. Oh, well, at least it's not as bad as before. He's just doing some goofy dance moves. Whoa, back off, man. Anyways, at this point, it was getting pretty late and I had to get the animations working today. So I spent the next hour making sure they were working as expected. And by the end of it, everything seemed to be good. Or so I thought. I started off day 6 by adding hitboxes to the melee enemy. This was essential as it allows us to register attacks to and from the enemy. I also gave the player some health so that we can take damage. Alright, the implementation is done. Let's test it out. Okay, it definitely seems to be working correctly, but that's just the punches. Oh, here we go. So as I was fixing this bug, I realized something. The animations that I spent half a day working on didn't work. And this was a massive problem. You see, I was already behind on my planned tasks and I definitely did not have any extra time for fixing these animations. So I had to lock in and get this done. I spent the rest of the day fixing this issue and working on completing the melee enemy. At the end of the day, I got both of the things done, but that's all I could do. Now we have 1 day left and boy oh boy do we have some tasks to complete. Let's go through them real quick. I have to completely implement the range and to make levels and set up fights throughout the map and sound effects. There is one more thing I have to do, something related to the third enemy I made earlier. I think you guys might be getting an idea of what I'm talking about. Anyways, at this point, any person with like 2 or more brain cells would probably start early in the day to, you know, make the best out of the situation. So you know what? Let's play a little game of our own. I'll give you 3 options and you'll have to guess at what time I started working on my literal final day of working on this game. Well, if you guessed 12 PM, you guessed wrong because I started at 10 a.m. I didn't start at 10 a.m. I started at 4. What do I even do at this point? Start the 24-hour clock or something, I guess. So I started by creating particles using VFX graphs for the ranged enemy. Because if he's gonna be shooting fireballs and shit, he better look cool doing it. So once I was done with making the fireball, it looked glorious. Probably the best thing I've ever made with particles. I then went on to add similar particle effects to the ranged enemy, cause why not? It'll look sick. I also gave him attacks, so now he can throw fireballs at you, and I wouldn't recommend getting too close to him cause he's got anger issues. Alright, with that done, both of the enemies are finally complete, which means most of the implementation for the game is now done. But I must not get lazy because there's still a lot of things that need to be done, like making levels and setting up fights throughout the map. So I started by getting a model of some ruins from Sketchfab. Now this model was completely free and really quite nice, so thank you HFocalt for that. Now with the models imported into the Unity project, I started setting up levels all across the map. You would have to fight the enemies here before continuing on your path to the top of the mountain. It took me about 2 hours to get everything done, and by the end of it, I think we actually have something nice here. And also it's pretty difficult to go through all of the levels without dying, which definitely adds a bit of a challenge to the game. Although don't expect too much, it was made in a week. Now at this point, we were past midnight and there was something in the game that was really bugging me. You see, when we kill an enemy, he just disappears. There's no death animation or explosion or anything. But I really did not have time to add something too complicated, so in the end, I just decided to spawn some rocks when an enemy is killed. Now I know it sounds stupid, but it actually worked. At least it feels a lot better than what we had before, so that's a win in my books. Alright, it is finally time for what you all have been waiting for. The third enemy. What is it? What's its purpose? Well, of course, it's a boss enemy for a boss battle. Now for this enemy, I combined the styles of both the other enemies because he can use all their attacks. Not just that, he can also spawn the other enemies around him, so all I'll say is it's definitely not gonna be easy to defeat him, especially when you already have your ass absolutely battered by the other enemies which you will have to fight along the way, which means he will be waiting for you at the top of the mountain. Now I haven't even shown you guys what the top of the mountain actually looks like, so look at it. Isn't it fucking amazing? Please say it is. I spent way too much time and effort making this. I spent 2 hours working on this fight, making sure everything works as it should and that the fight is fun and challenging. And with that done, it was actually 4 in the morning, which meant I had been working for 12 hours straight, and I was just extremely tired at this point, so I decided to call it there for the day and go to sleep. The plan was to wake up before the 24 hours are up and add the UI and sound effects then. And that's exactly what I did. With about 2 hours remaining, I started adding the UI. I added a health bar, a main menu, and a death screen. I also noticed that the sparks we made earlier were not working anymore, so I quickly fixed that as well. And now there's only one thing left, the sound effects. Now for the sound effects, I did add them in, but I had to leave for lunch and I didn't really get a chance to test them properly. So I still don't know whether they work or not, but hey, we're here together right now, so why don't we just test them live? Alright, well, moment of truth. Oh, doesn't seem like there's any sounds. Yeah, the sword swinging should be making a sound and it's clearly not. Yeah, I don't think there's any sounds, guys. Yep, that should have made a sound and that should have made a sound. Well, I guess that solves it. There are no sounds. Alright, I spent 2 days, 2 entire days trying to figure out what's wrong with the audio manager script, and nothing. Absolutely nothing. That is, until on the 3rd day while I was debugging the issue, all the sounds got randomly deleted from the game. And it was a little annoying, but I did add the sounds back and guess what happened? It just starts working. How? Why? I don't know. It's literally the same code we started with. Look, alright, I just repopulated these in the inspector and do you hear that? Wait, the sound's too low. Let me just turn it up. There's sounds in the game! Anyways, let's see if all the other sounds are working as they should, and way too loud. But hey, they work, so you know what? We can work on fine-tuning the volume all we want now. So it turns out, believe me or not, it actually makes a huge difference to have sounds in your game. Everything just feels so much better now, even with the lack of some clearly needed polish. But you know what this actually means? It means we were able to complete our game in time. And yeah, we're not counting some self-fixing stupid ass bug as taking up development time. So I guess there's only one thing left to do. Let's play both the games and find out which one's better. Alright, the 1 day game. Let's see, no menu at all. Okay, let's head straight into the game and wait for our first enemy. Oh, there he is. And let's get him down just like that. Boom, pow, pow. Yeah, we're doing good. Oh, I suck at my own game. How can I be this bad? Nah, that has to be a fluke. Let's try again, alright? Come on, let's do this. I know we can do better this time. Let me just get him down and see. This is easy. This is so easy. I don't know what happened last time, but this is so easy. Oh, well, that's not supposed to happen, but you know what? Let's just focus on the good things right now. Alright, let me just try to get a good enough score. Let's get to 300. Let's get to 300 at least. Oh, here's the bug again. Let's just get him down. Oh, the circles are increasing. There's way too many and I lost again. Well, alright, I think it's safe to say that I suck at my own game, but I'm kinda more excited about the 1 week game. Let's go over and see what we were able to make in 1 week. Alright, the 1 week game. Okay, right off the bat, at least we have a menu in this one, so that's a good start. Let me just head straight into the game. Okay, we're in now. The sensitivity is a little too high, but you know what? It's fine. The game actually looks really good though. I mean, look at this village. Look at all these models. They look sick. Let's see. Do we go left or do we go right? I think let's go right. Okay, so this should be our first enemy encounter, and oh, well, that's not good. Let me just finish him off real quick. Let's fight these other rock monsters. Let me just attack him and try to get him down. Wait, what's that sound? Oh no, I think I left the fireball sound on loop. Man, I'm not gonna lie, I'm kinda OP. I am losing some health, but overall I just have to spam the sword attack and that's about it. Oh, took a lot of damage on that one. That's not good. Anyways, I think we've seen enough of the base enemies. Let's just skip all the way to the boss enemy now. Alright, we're almost here at the boss battle and that fireball sound is really annoying me, but it is what it is. Let's just go and see what we can do against this boss. Oh, I see, huh? Well, at least he's not very accurate with his fireballs. Oh no, that's not good, bro. Come on, bro, you can't just spam spawning more enemies. No, I can't lose at my own game. No way. Come on, I'm like 20 HP. Oh no, the spam attacks are not working anymore. I have to play it cool. I'm literally like on 10 HP right now. Can you stop spawning more enemies and just die already? Come on, just die, please. Just let me spam you in the back. And oh, finally. Would have been really embarrassing if I didn't win a boss battle that I implemented myself. So, final thoughts. I think both the games turned out better than I thought they would. I mean, don't get me wrong, they're not good games, they still require some polish, and by some polish, I mean polishing with sandpaper maybe, but for the time I had to make them, I would say they're not half bad. And to answer which one of them was better, well, of course, overall the 1 week game was much better. Do let me know in the comments down below which game you think was better for the time put into it. I'll be honest, for me, that was the 1 week game as well. I feel like with a little bit more polish, the 1 week game could actually become a proper fun little game. But you know what? Both of them were good. Much better than what I expected anyways, so I would call that a win.